first episode of Coffee Talks, and I'm your host, Deshaun Duke, and I'm with Diego Kriks, Sergio Valera, and Ernie Flynn. And today we're going to be talking about mainly college housing, engineering programs, and UCs. What's your thoughts, Ernie Flynn, about college housing?
Well, Deshaun Duke. I'm currently writing a paper on college housing, strictly for community colleges in California. But I don't know if you guys know this, but there's 116 community colleges in California, and only 11 of them offer housing, like not grants or help with housing. So either they'll house you on campus, or they'll help give you money to provide for yourself for housing purposes. But that's 11 out of like 116.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. That's
116. I don't know. I don't know about you. It's not a high number. But basically, the issue I have is that community college is supposed to be affordable. But what good is affordable if you can't? It's affordable schooling, but if the cost of it is too high, amongst teenagers, we're either out on our own, maybe with their parents. And for the parents, that's probably best case scenario. But for those that are out on their own, or those coming back to school, adding whatever funds adding pricing of school to whatever funds you're already paying
Because some people have
bad.
financial issues and stuff like that.
Yeah, some people have financial issues. So for the fact that community college, affordable college, is it's not everybody can make it because of housing or because commuting is too long. Not everybody lives around a community college.
Right.
And so it seems crazy. And I mean, I would propose that colleges just eat the cost of community college or of housing students, like their low income students at the very least,
Right.
because it just makes sense. They're getting more students. There's a lot of students in community colleges, and so it sounds terrible. Like for colleges are going to listen to that and be like, I'm not going to eat the cost of housing. I mean, but if they want to, they can look at it as a loss leader. And I don't know if you guys know what a loss leader is, but it's basically where a company takes a loss in profit to bring customers in. So like Costco with their hot dogs and stuff, their little food area, they go negative in profits for that. But what it does is it brings more people in, and then they'll end up like shopping and buying more and more of their product. And so if colleges look at it as like a loss leader, then it should be all right. Because, if you're offering student housing, then it gets more and more students looking at that college, because, not all teenagers want to stay living with their parents until
Right.
they're finished with college or till they can afford it. Some of them are going to be like, okay, well, they're offering housing. I'll go apply there. And if I get accepted into that housing program, then I can move out, do my own thing, not have to worry about it. And I feel like that would benefit a lot of students, because there's also a lot of high dropout rates for students that don't have housing. Like there's a lot of homeless students, and all that does is continue the cycle of poverty. And yeah,
That's true. That's a good idea about like having a program that can like help the students like financially for their housing. I think another way, Diego, you remember when we went to USF?
Yeah.
They have like a scholarship based on merits, depending like on your GPA. Like if you get a 3.7, they give you like 16K like a year for 3 years. I think it could be also implemented for community colleges. For example, obviously you need to have like a certain amount of income to like get into that program. But let's say like you're getting into the program, they might require you to have like like a 3.5 GPA or like some kind of range of GPA in order to like keep being into that program. Better said, I don't know. It's just like an idea that I wanted to add in there.
Like a GPA ranking system for the housing?
Yeah, like there's it's kind of like the tag, that you gotta maintain a certain amount of GPA.
I wouldn't be surprised. They probably already like implement that kind of rule. It's like, okay, well, you make this is like the cap for how much you can make in order to qualify that program. You have to show that you've had this kind of GPA, or that you can do this GPA in order to continue getting funded, and like you're taking the mandatory classes and not just wasting their time.
Right.
And it would make sense. It kind of reminds me of like, I don't know why it's so funny. It kind of reminds me of like teachers giving you extra credit even though you already have like A's and B's,
That's true.
instead of giving it to like D's and C's or F's or whatever.
Right.
Like they might need it most, the ones with lower grades, but they're showing that they aren't putting the effort in to even get their grade up or whatever.
Or I would say like you could also like use student loans like that, but like if some people can't, of course there's gonna be like college debt and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like mainly you shouldn't want to get into a career that's not gonna pay off that college debt. But like you could use student loans for that type of situation, I would think.
I feel like student loans are like a big issue because there are a lot of people that will go to college because, you know, parents raise their kids to be like, you can do anything you want. So there's a lot like more people trying to go into acting or like these easy high income jobs, and so they'll go to school for that, and then they end up with nothing. So they're
Right.
deep in debt. They don't have a job that will provide them. They end up working minimum wage, or maybe they end up maybe it works out and they end up making more. But even then, now you still have student debt. You're not working where you want to be. Maybe you're unhappy, and so I feel like people. Yeah, I don't remember what we were talking about, but debt, like building up student debt, is terrible, especially if you're just going there and not majoring in something that's
That's gonna like make you a
that's
little
gonna make you
profit.
money. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's one of my biggest scares of like universities and colleges, like student loans, dude. I heard that the interest rates are getting crazy as well.
Well, I'm pretty sure they like there's what's it called? I can't remember what it's called, but you don't have to pay until like after you finish college or something.
Oh, really?
Like they don't charge you interest for the first for like your 4 years of college or whatever it is, or until you get
graduate.
your degree, and
Oh,
then
that's
once you
cool.
graduate or whatever, they'll start doing the interest and you start paying it off and all that because they know. I mean, I feel like it's just taking advantage. If they
Yeah.
charged you that interest rate over those
Like,
4
right
years you're
away?
going to college, it's like, dude, I'm not making any money. I can't pay this off.
I can barely like.
I can
support
barely
myself.
afford going to school. That's why I took a loan out. So why are you charging me interest? By the time I graduate, everything is gonna be double the amount I put in there or took out, and it's just insane.
Do you remember the exact cost for USF tuition admission?
Dude, USF was like 58K.
$58,000 for 1 year.
That's
for
like
1 year.
for 1 year. That's like 3K more than Harvard.
That's crazy.
But you know they do offer a lot of financial support though. Like the you can stock up like the merit grants and whatever with the FAFSA and then like the California like what's the name? It's like the California Financial Aid or something like that.
Isn't that the fast food?
There
I think
was
it's
two that
FAFSA.
no there was two that they were talking about, but I don't know the difference. I don't know if they're the same thing.
I don't know. No, but dude, that's a lot
That
for a
is a lot.
year. That's crazy. But I think it makes sense because it's San Francisco. I mean, it's one of those major cities.
Right.
It's expensive just to live in San Francisco. Now imagine going to school in San Francisco and living there. You got to be making
You
bank.
gotta-
Yeah.
And if you're making bank in San Francisco, it looks like you're broke. But if you're making bank working in San Francisco, you're going to San Francisco, you see, but you live out here, man, you're killing it.
Imagine commuting to like San Francisco for like
My-
studying
I
though.
mean, a lot of people just commute to San Francisco for jobs because they have high pay.
That's true though,
Anyway,
but for example, USF doesn't have any parking though, so how would you commute?
that's
Yeah.
a
We
question.
spent-
That is a question.
Me and
They don't have
me and
parking?
Sergio.
No.
What'd you
With
say?
Sergio, we spent 10 to 15 minutes finding parking.
Finding parking.
Finding parking.
Finding
And then
parking.
how long was the walk?
The
That was
walk,
like 50 minutes.
it's like
15
15,
minutes.
10 minutes.
Oh, 15,
No,
10
15 minutes.
Oh, that's crazy. Now imagine. I mean, I guess it makes sense. It's a city, but not everybody lives out there,
Yeah.
so they don't have any parking.
No parking at all. They don't allow cars in the
They
university.
don't allow cars. That's crazy. So how do people get around?
So
They do have
They just walk?
parking. It's just a
Don't-
very small
Don't
Hover
they have
parking.
like
boards and
those
scooters?
scooters? Yeah. You just see those scooters scattered everywhere.
or like
Awesome.
UC Davis that they just go with like bikes and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like they got like
No,
those rental bikes and all that.
Yeah. I also heard. I'm not sure if you gotta like live there in order to get these like aid,
Mhm.
but they do like support you with like free tickets,
Yeah.
free bus tickets to get you anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That's a way to get around.
Last week we went to the transfer day for UC Davis.
Yep.
What's your thoughts on that?
Do you fell asleep with the
'Cause
transfer?
I did not, bro. Mainly I was like, because I was looking for the engineering stuff.
Right.
And I was like, they weren't showing that, so I was just waiting. So mainly for like all the transfer stuff I saw for engineering, it's gonna be hard getting there, man.
Bro, everything is so impacted
You have to
that
take so much math, and then I think I saw statistics up there.
I mean, I think you have to take statistics regardless.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess there's several classes you can take in
Yeah.
place of math, but like me, I'm taking intro to statistics right now.
Yeah, the GPA for it, was it all together or for each one? I think it was all together
no,
for
no.
group. It was
if
like
you,
3.5 that you have to have
that's
a
for
GPA.
tag though, no?
I think, no, that wasn't for tag. That was mainly for the transfer, and then they had tag, and it was like, no, it was 3.2 for,
Yeah, 3.2
yeah,
for the
3
tag.
point, yeah, no, 3.2 for the normal, the whole group, and then 3.5 for the tag.
What is tag?
So
Transfer
tag
admission
is like it's basically like a contract that you can sign with not any UC, but UCSD,
guarantees you a
UC
spot.
Berkeley. Yeah,
Transfer admission guarantee.
yeah.
Transfer admission guarantee. I thought you said transfer admission grant. No, I was like, grant? I wanted to go to UC Davis so bad. Like growing up, it was like my dream school. Like I've known that since like, I don't know, 5th grade. 5th grade was where I wanted to be. UC Davis, doctor, surgeon. I wanted to be a surgeon. I wanted to be a neurosurgeon. I had that going for me until about sophomore year. And I was like, I'm not doing that.
I want all that.
What is it?
You know, it's like 8 years of schooling or something. From the research I did, I mean, I did what I think is quite a bit of research, but I could be wrong. But it was like 8 years of schooling and a 5-year residence, or depending on where you work, I think.
5-year residence.
Uh-huh. It's like 2 to 5 year residence or something. And so like you do all that schooling. I mean, you're working through the schooling because I'm sure they have like these like in-person classes or not classes, but like these work studies and all that. But man, I wanted to be a neurosurgeon so bad, and I was like, I can't do that. You know, I want to have a life. And then I was like, well, let's see about trauma surgeon. I was like, it's the same thing. And so I was like, okay, doctor. I was like, that's too much schooling, too much debt. And now I'm doing not neurosurgeon. Back full circle. No, I'm doing a nurse practitioner, cardiology,
Cardiology. That's
or something like that. Hearts.
wasn't that what
I know it's hearts.
that lady was talking about in UC Davis, like the admissions officer that she was talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah, she was like
so.
something with cardiology as
But
well.
UC Davis doesn't have a nursing program, or I don't think they have a nursing program. They have a medical program, and it's a great medical program, but I don't think they have a nursing program, or like a good one. I mean, I know Solano has a good nursing program. There's like, what is this, Sonoma, and like there's other colleges, like a lot of these community colleges have a nursing program, or at least the ones around us. but UC Davis doesn't, and that kind of hurt. I was like, dang, you know, I can't
Davis
go to my dream
does.
school.
It's kind of
Davis
crazy though.
does.
UC Davis with no nursing program. I would have never expected that.
I'd have to double check, but I'm pretty like I know they have a good medical program, but I don't know about their nursing program.
I
From
didn't
what
see
hear,
anything about nursing.
Yeah, I didn't see that
they don't
either.
have it. No.
Davis has a nursing program. It's not a direct entry nursing program. You
Oh.
only need a registered nurse license to be able to get.
So you need to have gone through nursing school.
You need to have gone through nursing.
So what's the program about?
It's a master's or doctorate. If you
Oh
want.
yeah, they do have those
Oh.
master programs, huh?
Yes.
It's what is it called? It's not like fast track. It's like a quick program through masters or something. It's like 2 years or something. From getting your RN, you can have I can't remember what it's called, but you can get through your masters much quicker. It's like a I don't remember. My mom did it. My grandma did it. I can't remember the name of it for the life of me.
I mean, at the transfer fair, UC Davis, I didn't see anything about nursing. I did see a lot about like engineering
Yeah.
though. Yeah, there was a
They had
computer
engineering.
science,
Yeah,
electrical
computer science.
engineering,
UC Davis is a like a STEM
STEM
Yeah.
heavy.
STEM heavy school. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an
I mean,
agricultural college.
Like, cause we went.
Oh, yeah.
through,
Yeah, that
we
too.
went-
Yeah.
We went
Oh.
through like we were with the MESA program, and then also wasn't it like the STEM president or something was with us?
What do you mean?
I forgot her name.
Are you talking about the lady?
Yeah, the lady.
Yeah,
that was with us.
that's a girl. That's the lady I'm talking about. Another
Yeah.
girl. Sorry.
Yeah.
She's like the admissions officer
Yeah.
for UC Davis. That's why I brought it up. She's also doing something with cardiology. She did
Mhm.
some research at UC Davis. Honestly, I forgot.
I
It
mean,
was
you
a
can
lot
do
of
a lot with
talking.
hearts. You can be a doctor specializing in hearts. You can be a surgeon specializing in
Yeah.
hearts. I mean,
I've seen a lot of what trauma does, because during the summer I went through the Keep You Launch program, which is basically you get to shadow in a lot of the medical and non-medical departments. I mainly was interning in the engineering department, but I did get to see some of what trauma does and stuff like that. And so I got to see they do the surgeries and stuff like that, and they also do like all the emergency stuff I saw. But mainly, I got to see. I was shadowing one of the doctors, and I got to see 2 traumas that came in, And so I can't, well, mainly I saw was like one guy came in, he was stabbed. And so I got to see the whole process of them fixing this guy basically, or like making sure to stop the bleeding, take him get a CAT scan, all that type of stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah. But, and then another guy came in, another guy he was a construction worker, got hurt on a job and stuff like that. And so I got to see all the CAT scan type of stuff, which was pretty cool.
Did they let you into the OR or the emergency room?
Yes, I was in the
or
emergency room.
the operating room.
Yeah, I got to see the whole. No,
He's like, I was close enough.
I really, it's like I got to see them take him out of the ambulance, got to see the whole process of it and stuff like that. I was standing next to the doctor and stuff like that.
That's what's up. That's cool.
Yeah.
I remember. I think you were talking about another program that was coming up that you're trying to get all of us to do, or like we're all trying to do, or something.
I think
What
that
was
was
that?
mainly just the MESA program, which
The MESA
Sergio was
program? Yeah.
bothering you about.
I thought that was something else. It's like we're like interning for like 6 weeks or something.
Oh no, that's a KP launch, but they got.
Oh yeah, keep it launch.
They got the engineering departments,
Yeah,
and then they got the nursing departments for y'all.
yeah.
That was what we were talking about.
Because I was like, you could be in the IT department.
Yeah, and then you could be in the engineering, and you two in the nursing.
I wouldn't see a reason for me to do it again. I just see a reason for you guys. Because I got my experience. I got to go over the whole hospital.
You
Got to
don't wanna do it
shadow
again?
all the stationary engineers. I've already seen everything.
He's like, I
just
don't
been
want to do
going
this
back
again.
to see mine.
It was terrible.
Was it that bad?
It was no, it was fun. I missed the cafeteria quesadillas though.
The
It was-
cafeteria quesadillas,
they
were
were
they
the best
free?
ones. No,
Were they
you
free?
had to pay for them.
How much?
From
They
what?
were worth the money though. It was big quesadillas.
It makes it
too.
sound like they were like $10 each.
Wait. Big question though. Only cheese quesadillas, or did it have chicken in it?
They had breakfast quesadillas.
That's
that-
not a quesadilla, friend.
But no,
That's
no,
omelet.
no, it's like it had egg, sausage, stuff like that, and then it's in a tortilla. And then
Yeah.
they cut it.
That sounds like an omelet.
No,
Sounds about
it's
like
not
$3.
made from eggs
You
though.
know what a quesadilla is, right?
Yes.
Cheese. Queso.
It had cheese in it. It had cheese in it.
Okay. I mean, I guess. But yeah, no, I mean, school. How is everybody doing with their school right now? It's first semester for all, or not you. Is it
That is
first-
a,
yeah,
yeah,
you
it's
took
my
a
that's
leap
a
semester.
risky question.
That is a risky question.
You're like, my mom might see this.
Oh, I'm proud of
We can
this.
skip it. How's everybody? Okay. Like
It's
mentally,
B, B, and
mentally.
A. That's my
and just,
grades.
Like
That's my
how's school?
grades.
Huh?
That's my grades.
That's your grades?
B, B, and A.
Mine are A, B. I think like a C or something. I have a C and L or 10.
Yeah.
I have A, L or 10.
I have a AA, BC. It's not looking great for me, bro.
I know it's like
not
especially for
looking
that
great
transfer
me.
program because you gotta have like this. I mean, part of me is glad I'm not going to Davis because that like lifts a certain like a little bit of weight off my shoulders for like the
Right.
GPA, but I do kind of miss that obligation. I mean, other than the fact that I have to perform in school so I can move on.
Right.
But because of like the transfer program, it was something I had to like in order to go to Davis to guarantee a spot, I had to have this high of a GPA. And so when I realized that I'm not going to Davis, it kind of was like nice, but not, because now I'm not holding myself to as high of a standard. I've noticed since I've made that decision, I've kind of like
You've been
laid
like
back a little
that.
bit.
Yeah.
And so my grades started dropping. That's why I have a C and a R10 because I was just like, I mean, I don't care. I mean, I do. I still do it, but it's the student response questions because they have to be like essays, and not
That's
essays.
true.
It's very little work, but it's tedious. And I
Yeah,
don't
it's just
feel
like
like tedious
essays.
right now,
It's just,
and so I need
nice.
to work on that. I have been working on that. It's been going better.
How
I
about
don't know
you?
about y'all, but I'm slaving away to 6 classes this semester.
That's
I got
nice.
a 3.4 GPA.
3.4?
Nice.
That's
What's your
pretty
lowest grade
good.
in what class?
6th grade. I think it's like 4 A's, 2 B's.
Dude, what's
Oh.
the high percentage though?
Great.
That's cool. That's good.
Yeah, that's
I know,
really
I can't tell my dad
I
my
did
grades. He'll kill
terrible
me.
in high
He's
school.
like, you got a C. You got
I
2
did-
B's. You
I
got
did
2 B's.
absolutely terrible in high school. I'm gonna let y'all know. I did terrible.
I did too. Up until my last, I guess actually, my last 3 years were relatively all right. I was an average student, but like freshman year and beyond, and before, freshman year is kind of when I started turning it around. But like everything before that, I was like, I don't even know how I made it through elementary school.
I was mainly a C or higher. I
was
just
a
tried to
C
get that
student.
C. I was a C student, and mainly like if I got that D, my mom's on me. If it's a C, she ain't on me that much, but she's still on me.
No, my dad used to like ruin me. He's like, no. Here's what I'll tell you. My dad, when I was there, he used to bribe me with money. He was like, if you do this, we'll go out to Baskin Robbins, or I'll give you this amount of money. He's like, if you get C's, I'll give you $10. I was like, dude, let me get
Whatever now.
No, that's how bad of a student I was. He was bribing me to get C's.
Well, my granny is, she told my mom to tell us, so if we had, she would give us, I think, how much was it? I think it was either $10 or $20 every A we had on our progress report.
Yeah.
And so we did good for a good, well, my sister always does great. She's an honor roll student. But me, as soon as I heard that, I got good grades for a good minute, but then it all just went downhill.
Yeah. My dad slowly regretted that decision he made, because the first semester I got a couple C's and like a couple B's, but the next semester, because it was like $50 for an A, because he knew I struggled.
$50 for an A?
I'll tell you right now, I got an A once in a blue moon, or whatever the phrase is. I could have totally like just ruined, like I could totally messed that up. But it was like $50 for an A, $20 for a B, and like I think the next semester was like 0 for C. You had to get something better, right? And so I ended that semester with like 2 A's, like 2 or 3 B's, and then like a D and like 2 C's.
What year was this?
This was 8th grade.
Oh,
Or it might have been, I might have added a grade or something. It might have been like 1 C or something, whatever it was. But we had like 7 classes, and that's not including lunch.
Mm-hmm.
So it was well, I guess 6 technically, because we had 2 English classes. But it was intense. It wasn't intense. It was really fun. I miss middle school. But I also owed my dad like $100 and some change because of other things. So he's like, because I did fantasy football with him. So I was like, I got my money, and he's like, all right, cool. And I was like, okay, so here's this $100. So I don't owe you for fantasy football. That means I don't have to go do those weeds up in the front, because we had like a giant like row. Like it would have taken me like 2 days to do those weeds. It was terrible. So I gave him, I was like, here's $100. I'm not doing those weeds. And then here's $20 for the other thing I owe you. And I still walked away with like $30 or something like that. He's like, I got whooped. It's like, I haven't got whoops like this since I bought my first car. As a kid, that makes you feel awesome. But looking back now, I'm like, oh, he was probably making me feel good about myself. And then so freshman year, I kind of went in with a different mindset, and it kind of helped with my student growth. And I probably passed freshman year with like, I passed, obviously. I didn't have to retake any of my classes ever throughout the whole of high school. But freshman year, I had decent grades, or okay, average, like C's and maybe a couple B's. And then sophomore year, quarantine.
Ooh,
Man,
no.
My grades went up all the way. I had straight A's all year. Straight A's all year. Not necessarily all year. I guess it's like the back half. So for the first semester, so the first quarter, straight A's. Second quarter, straight A's and a B, off by 0.02%.
You didn't run that up?
No, we didn't run it up.
That's crazy.
I was so irritated. I was like, dude, it was one of my teachers. I don't remember. But I had a B. I had a B plus. It was like a 74.98 or something. And I was, or 74.98 or something like that. And like some teachers, it's like, no, sorry, 79 point, like, whatever. You know how teachers rule, like it becomes like an A minus at like 79, like 0.5. Yeah. And it's like A minus. Mine was like 0.02 away from that, and I was so irritated.
That's crazy.
And then the rest of the year it was kind of mostly A's, still 1 or 2 B's. Ended up like passing that year with like a 3.9 or something, or 3.8 something. I don't remember, but I know that was like my best year in high school. And then I don't know, the rest of the grades were fine. And I was like, hey, I just got straight A's all year. Can I get my permit? And he was like, nah. He was like, do it again. Because the thing is, he held it over my head. It's like, you need to get good grades. I'll let you get your permit. I was like, okay, straight A's all year. And I took advantage because at home school was so easy. I was like, hey, permit? And he was like, no. And then, the next year, it was junior year, started, I was doing really well. I was like, hey, my permit? And he's like, no.
That's crazy.
First quarter. I was like, permit? No. Next quarter, permit? No. And I was like, okay, this guy's never gonna let me drive. So I kind of just whatevered it. I'll get to that momentarily. I kind of whatever, and I let my grades fall, and I realized about after that quarter was over, I realized like, dude, this isn't affecting anybody else. It's affecting me. At that moment, my grades went up, and I did better the rest of that year, and throughout all of the senior year, I did really good. Well. I had pretty much straight A's, except for English class. I had Mr. Wren, hardest teacher, Mr. Wren. If you're out there and you're watching, I appreciate you. It was stressful. But so Mr. Wren stressed me out all the time. Like my senior year, I built my whole high school like experience around my senior year. I packed in everything my first 3 years. In my senior year, I had 2 classes I needed to pass. It was English and history, and I could cruise because I thought that I only had to take 2. I only have 20 credits I need. I can just go to school for those 2 classes, dip out. Nah, they're like, you need to have at least 5 classes.
Why? Wait, no.
It was stupid, but I'm glad I did it because it got me into my car hobby.
Mm-hmm.
It was video production, which was really fun. I got to make videos with my friends and turn them in. I made a not a superhero video. I did make a superhero video. I remember that video. I was the Flash.
The Flash.
Yeah. I basically I'm a kid, schizophrenic little kid with a superhero disorder thing. And so I was like, I thought I was the Flash, and then my little cousin Jessie, we did like this really cool transition, and she turned in like to like Bane. My friend Wyatt played like Bane with his button up on backwards and everything. That was funny. And we just rolling around on the floor, and then turned it in, and we got 100%. It was his favorite.
That's pretty.
It was awesome. I enjoyed it a lot.
One final project that my grade hinged upon was like, it was for U.S. government history.
Oh,
and
government
so,
with
Mr. Bowles. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That project was basically it's a group project, and so it's like an election, and so he said whoever people voted for, like who had the best project, they wouldn't have to do the final.
Yeah.
The night before, I worked so hard to prepare for the final because I wasn't thinking my group was gonna win, and so during that day, I'm just like, this final's gonna suck, because during that time, people were like using like Quizlet and all that, and so the teacher was like, you have to do it on paper for the final and stuff like that. I'm like,
no, paper.
Yeah. And so to help them, and so I'm like, this is gonna suck. So I'm like, I prepared the night before, I'm ready to take the final, and then right when everybody's voting, I'm just zoned in, ready to do the final, and then all of a sudden, like, my friend's tapping me on the shoulder, it's like, we won by 1 vote. And I'm just like, still zoned in, and he's like, wait, we won? And bro, in that moment, I felt so happy. I was just like, the next, I forgot what day it was, man, but like, I was just like, I'm all good for graduation. No, I'm ready. I was just so livid that day.
So that permit thing, I forgot to get to that. I ended up just telling it. I was like, dude, my dad is. Okay. Well, I guess my dad's gonna go here real quick. I don't mind. It is what it is. I don't mind my dad, but if I'm gonna tell the story, I'm gonna tell the story. Chances are he's not gonna see it, but if he sees it, it is what it is.
34.
But I would drive from time to time before I got my permit. And so we went up to my grandpa's house. My sister drove there. She was like, hey, you want to drive back? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So I drove back, because at this point, like, it's still relatively new, but it wasn't something I've never done. It was my first long drive, but I used to drive relatively frequent, as long as I was with somebody. And I was driving back. We were good. We got back into town, and I had ran a red light because I was like zoned in, and I almost got T-boned. And at that moment, I was like, I'm getting my permit because I need to practice. The last thing I want to do, because in my head, I was like, my dad's not going to let me get my license until I'm 18. At 18, I don't need somebody in the car with me.
Right.
So it's like what he's basically doing, he's like just throwing me out to the wolves. It's just, it just didn't make sense. It's like, okay, you're going to toss me into the road at 18 with no experience, no nothing. Like, and I told my dad, I was like, I'm going to get my permit.
Right.
And he's like, what are your grades? I was like, straight A's. And he's like, okay. I was like, all I had to do was tell this guy I was going to get my permit. And I was like, dude, that's so stupid. That's actually I got my permit. And it was great. And then if I spent $500 on those driving instructors, I could have got my license a month before school was over. I didn't do that because my birthday was in June. I would get my license in May.
Right.
It's a waste of $500. So I just waited an extra month, got my license.
I did the same thing. I did not pay for the instructors. I'm like, dude,
Because after
180?
Yeah, because after 17 and a half, if you don't plan on getting your license till 18, you don't need it.
Yeah, like, just practice.
Yeah.
You don't need the instructors.
hmm You only need it if you're going to get your license before you turn 18.
Yeah, like getting it at 16 type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how do your guys' high school experiences shape like your expectations or like the way college is like affecting you? Like I know for me, like getting out of high school and coming into college, I had some better habits when it came to work. When it came to working,
Mm-hmm.
I mean my habits are still relatively the same: procrastination. But like I built some better habits, like actually doing the work. I used to be like, dude, I would look at freshman year. I looked at my math teacher, my math grade. I had an A in that class, but I looked at my grade. I never did the homework. By the end of the semester, I still had an A, but I had 40 missing assignments in that class because of homework.
Well, how do you get 40 missing assignments, bro?
And still an A?
Yeah.
Because I passed every single one of those quizzes and tests with
That's kinda
flying
crazy.
colors
So the homework didn't really matter.
for a long time. So like at the beginning of the semester, I was like her highest graded. Like I had the highest grade in the class, 100%
Right.
for the most part. I think it was 100%, and then it slowly went down. And at some point, I'm assuming somebody else passed me, but me and Miss Hernandez, me and my math
Mrs.
teacher.
Hernandez. That's her name.
I won't say anything on her personality, but I'll say that we had beef. And at that moment, I stopped taking notes, stopped doing my homework. Not because I was like resenting her, but I was like, I'm passing her class.
Right.
And then we had more beef because she was like, you're not taking notes. I'm going to email your parents. You're not doing your homework. I'm going to email your parents. Blah,
Well, you're
blah,
passing
blah.
though.
And I was like, dude, I have an A in this class.
I'm your highest grade,
Leave
bro.
me alone.
No, bro, because Mrs.
I had
Hernandez.
several detentions just because I didn't take notes. And I was like, it is what it is. I don't care.
Miss Hernandez, bro. Like, being honest with you, bro, she had, like, beef with everybody. Everybody in my class, like, I don't know, there would be some sort of argument every day.
Mhm.
I thought it was crazy. I didn't know what they were saying because I just moved here.
Yeah.
I just heard shouting.
You're just like, you're speaking too fast, dude.
Yeah, I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, no, but I mean, for college, it definitely helps with the classes. I mean, I'm still going through it. It's still the beginning, and
Mhm.
things are destined to change. But as of right now, the habits I'm carrying on from high school are still here. Most of them good, some of them not so good that I'm hoping to get rid of, and I hope they don't stay with me the whole time. But if they do, I gotta figure it out.
At least, I mean, it's good for you that you built, like, your habits, bro. I didn't build any. Because I was always the kind of kid, like...
You took a year off of school in the middle of middle school
I mean,
because
yeah.
you moved out. You immigrated out here.
And then I skipped 8th
And then
grade.
You skipped 8th grade.
I don't know. Like, I was kind of, like, always a kid. I never, like, really studied for anything.
You're like, well, we have higher learning standards out there.
Yeah.
So what you're learning in 8th grade, I learned last year.
I already
We're
learned
good.
it, bro.
Yeah.
So I kind of, like, relied on that till, like, sophomore year.
Mhm.
And then in junior year is when it got real. Junior year is when it got real.
That's when high school started getting to me. Peer pressure, this and that. Man, parties. Never went to a party.
No.
Never.
I mean, okay, I've gone to a party or two, not my kind of scene, but not something like, not what you're thinking, not like, oh, there's red solo cups and all these drinks and all these
Right.
like people. It's just like
Like, me.
parties. I mean, from what I know and from what I've experienced, parties are like little gatherings of like
Yeah.
maybe like 10 people, 10
Mhm.
people, and that's a party.
The
in high school.
startups
I mean,
are
I could be
always
wrong
awkward.
because I'm hearing like these football teams, they're like having big parties and they describe it as like these parties you'll see in movies where it's
Yeah.
like it's hanging people, it's
Throwing
chicks
people out
and-
the window.
and whatever, jumping out the windows, jumping off the roof into a pool or something.
I went to a couple, and once we would have got invited to a couple, I not really my kind of jam.
Yeah, it's not my kind of thing. It's kind of whatever.
Because parties, the way I know parties is like, you go to like, either somebody's throwing a party at their house, or you go to like a little venue, and people are dancing, having fun, but parties here are wild.
Parties are only fun when you know people there. When you have people you know well.
Mm-hmm.
So like if I were to go to a party and Sergio was there, I'd have a great time because me and Sergio are just gonna kick it all
Right.
night. But if I were to go to a party, I know the host and maybe one or two other people, just know of them, and I kind of seen the rest around school or something. I'm not gonna I'll socialize. I'm a very social person, but I don't know anybody. I'm not gonna. It'd take me like 15 minutes, 20 minutes just to get in there.
Right.
Real
No,
quick.
that happened to me.
Hey, what's up? What's your favorite color?
That happened to me during Liliana's quinceañera,
Mm-hmm.
because she invited me, and like I knew Liliana, but I didn't know anybody else.
Yeah.
And dude, I was expecting like at least some dancing, get to know people. Nah, bro.
Everybody sat down at their tables.
I was
The
like,
people going up are the old people, the grandparents, and the kids.
I was like, well, I just sat there the whole like 4 hours and like, oh, I didn't even do anything.
Yeah. Dude, no, college is way different than high school.
It
I
is.
love it.
I love college.
I love just having to come here twice a week. Twice a week?
Lucky, I gotta come here 4 times a week.
Well, that's because
I
you didn't
come
go
here
through
4 times a
classes
week.
properly.
You
But
got
I only
like,
have
That's
one
like
class.
classes.
you got 6 classes, dude.
I know
6 classes,
a lot of
I'm
my
getting
friends
that
are
grind,
having
dog.
a lot of my friends are having issues with with their scheduling because they're like, oh, I went to the counselor and this is how like we scheduled it. I was like, I was in the counselor room every day. So I mean, I guess I kind of had an advantage. I can just talk to my counselor whenever.
You're lucky.
Right.
I know I planned it. I was like,
Yeah.
this is what I'm doing.
I got here last
Being
second.
yeah, no, but
Dude, I didn't even
so I
go
was
to the
talking to them and I was
counselor.
like, okay, well, what does this mean? What does that mean? What does this mean? Like in real time. Whereas everybody else, they're kind of figuring it out as they go, and then they go to the counselor like, hey, these are my questions. With like, it's like, oh, what is this class? What is that? Which classes do I need? And they'll go and schedule it rather than, I mean. And so in that way, I think I had an advantage because I got to schedule my classes the way I wanted. I was like, okay, what does M, T, W, and H and F mean? And they're like,
Monday,
Monday,
Wednesday.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, well, I don't want all week, and I don't want them all to be different days. What I want, and I knew what I wanted. I wanted all my classes to be either Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday, and before 1 o'clock. So I would have had a class at like 9 to whatever time, and then from that time to the whatever. And what ended up happening is my last class ends at 2:50, and which I'm glad because you know I'm kind of working on the same schedule as my little sister,
Right.
which also causes issues because I have to pick up my little sister from school. And so like she starts school at 9, I start school at 9. She ends school at 2:50, I end school at 2:50. So I've worked something out with my grandma. She picks her up from the school, drops her off at the house, and I pick her up from my mom's house, drive all the way back to my dad's house. That's got me.
Quite a trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite a trip. No, but I made sure my classes were right. I made sure that I had what I wanted. All my classes are within the same time period, Monday, Wednesday, from 9 to 2:50. And I have a break between POF's class, communications, and then my math class. A 45-minute break. I can go get food, go do whatever I want.
What was good food?
I always get food. I need to stop because
When
my
it's
pockets
all-
are hurting. Especially now that I got
I
this
feel
car,
that.
I'm paying gas, I'm paying for extra things. I just got
but those
speakers.
burritos, though.
But those burritos.
Those burritos are too good.
Those burritos make
You're
me
missing
want
out
to
on
stand
a
up.
burrito is
You-
crazy. No.
You are missing out.
No.
Anyway,
I would rather take that burrito anytime than Burger
yeah,
King.
but there's a lot of
No.
things that came with college. It was much nicer, much easier. I get days off. I woke up this morning thinking it was Sunday. You know how awesome that was? I woke up this morning, I was like, yeah, it's
I'm like, I don't got
It's-
nothing to do, bro.
yeah, it's nice. Like I can have days off where I don't have to do anything. I mean, kind of. Oh my gosh, LR10. I had 2 assignments last night. I completely forgot about him.
Wow. Come on.
I was totally supposed to
getting
do-
his class right, bro. That's what you said.
Huh?
You said you were getting your classes right, bro.
I'm trying. I was trying with LR10. I had it in my head that I was going to do it, but I was so focused on my English paper
Mhm.
that I completely forgot about it.
I'm just hearing
so
laziness.
what's your grade on that class?
In LR10,
Yeah.
I have like a C. I have like a 73%.
The easiest class.
It is the easiest, but it's also the most tedious because it's just an extra class you have in the background. It's not mandatory, but it is kind of. And then you don't see the teacher. You kind of just are online. It doesn't hold any value to anybody except for that one credit you get. And then on top of my English assignments where I'm writing papers and like several paragraph responses, which you know it's English. I have an LR10, which is learning resources, and they're like, "Hey, write me a paragraph. Hey, go do some research for me real quick. Write me tell me what it's about. Put a quote in there, cite it," which is great because they're teaching me like citing my sources and all this other stuff that I kind of know. I have an idea of how to do already, and so they're helping me refine that. But it's just like you can't come at the worst times. My teacher just assigned me a 3-paragraph response question, and you assigned me a 2-paragraph response question on top of the fact that I got to communicate with other students. I don't know them. I don't want to talk to them. So it's interesting. That's probably the only thing I don't like. Is just that class. My math teacher's killing me.
Wait, it's
Sure.
oh,
Statistics? Yeah, statistics.
bro, he's best friends. He's like, I don't know about best friends, but he's kind of like buddies with my trigonometry teacher.
Dude, I see them talking in the hallway all the time. But like he's very strict with the way he grades. I got marked off maybe like 10 points or so, 10, 15 points, just because I didn't label things the way he wanted to. I wrote the equation down. I didn't mark an arrow.
Wait, you gotta like label them?
I got labels. So I wrote the equation down. I wrote the answer, but I didn't put an arrow marking that equation to the graph. I just wrote it right above the graph. Right above like where it was supposed to be. All I needed was to draw like a 2 centimeter dash down to where it was supposed to be. And he's like, half a point. And then I did the math for these numbers that are supposed to have. And, you know, I understand this. This makes sense, but it's also something that bothers me because I did those numbers. Z1, Z2 equal this and that. And then I put it down here, and I labeled it Z1, Z2. And he's like, a whole point off because I didn't put the numbers down. I put just the variables. And I was just like, dude.
The labeling, though, that's kind of crazy because neither in Calc or Professor, well, I love Professor Guru, my trigonometry teacher. He's so good. I don't know, dude. He never like took us points because we didn't label stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like we just do the work, and you know you gotta make it organized in order for him to like understand what's going on. But like in order to label them, he doesn't say anything.
Yeah, no. This is how I feel about Mr. Brewer. You know what I'm saying? I don't promote violence or anything, but just a
frustrated.
Oh.
No, not this. No, you know. Just a friendly little tap. No, I like him. He's cool. He's a cool guy. It's sometimes a little hard to follow because he's very monotoned.
Right.
And then also his class is relatively cold, so I'm just sitting here. I'm sitting there just not freezing. It's a good temperature, but it's a good sleep temperature.
Oh,
I love sleeping
classes.
in the cool. Like it's just it's cool. And then about halfway through the class, you're kind of just like.
Let me take a nap real quick.
And you're kind of just like zoned out because you know it's cool, it's nice, it's well temperatured. And so what I do is I halfway through the class he gives us ready 5 minutes to just like go do something and then come back.
Mm-hmm.
So I go out and I absorb the sun rays like I'm Superman or something. I'm just like energy. And then I go back in the class, I'm good. But if I don't go out, I'll come back into class. Like if I don't go outside to absorb the sun rays,
right.
I'll go back into class and just fall asleep 15 minutes later. I'm just fighting sleep. Just like I hear him talking notes. He's writing down on the projector, and I'm just like writing it down. I wake up. He's already 2 pages ahead. I'm just like, oh no! It's like, how is he not looking at me? Because I'll sit there and I'm trying not to sleep so bad that I'll fall asleep like this, and it's just it's terrible. I'll just fall asleep staring at him just, and he doesn't say anything. He just he mentioned it once, and he was like, "Oh, Ernie's joining us or whatever." Blah blah blah. He marked me absent once because I walked in a minute late. See, that's something my dad. He's like, when you get to like college, they're not gonna take late work. They're if you're not there when time starts, they're gonna lock you out of the classroom. This and that, a whole bunch of things. The only thing that seems to be true so far is missing work for some teachers. Some, a lot of these teachers seem relatively understanding,
right?
Which is great. And then getting locked out of classrooms. I don't necessarily get locked out of classrooms. None of the teachers so far have locked me out of their classrooms, but I did get marked absent because I walked in a minute late. He's like, "Well, I already passed your name on the paper." He still had the paper in hand. He was writing with the pencil. He could have just and then checked me in. I was like, it is what it is. And he got mad at me once because I got up because I guess I did. It was a little distracting. I would get up and go to the bathrooms at some point, like right before the break, because I want to spend my break, whatever. But I did have to go to the bathroom, and I just couldn't wait sometimes. He pulled me over to the side. He's like, "If you don't have your life together, you don't come to school." I was like, "I don't want to go to the bathroom, man." Like, he's like, "Prepare before class. This is not. If you don't have your life together, don't come to school." I was like, "Dude, that's crazy. You just tell me that."
That's kind of crazy, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know how we'll react to
Well,
not all. You're not gonna like all your professors, all your teachers.
True.
I I won't say I don't like him, but I will say that he's not my favorite teacher. He's not. He's out of the few that I have right now, he's my least favorite. But I don't not like him. I don't know if you understand what I mean.
It's just like a little bit frustrating.
I don't like him. It's not that I don't like him. I just like him the least.
for teachers in general, like that, it's just not every teacher is perfect.
I understand that,
But
and that's fine.
mainly, to conclude this session of Coffee Talks, I would like to say thank you guys for tuning in to Coffee Talks, the first episode, and that's mainly it. Thank you, Diego, Diego,
Diego.
and Ernie, and Sergio for joining. And that's it.
The exponential growth from the program from my first year to my third year now, that's what keeps me coming back and keeps me excited and just like fulfills me as a person.
It's so impressive, and we every time we walk in here, you guys are doing something different. It's great. It's
Nothing but opportunities here, and we have sports to cover, we have the equipment.
Because the more ambitious you are, the more opportunities you'll have.
on-the-job training is huge.
Get the hands-on experience.
When someone asks who can do it, you can raise your hand and say, I can do it. So
Joining the class was the best decision I ever made.
Stand by, we're going to go to cut one. And cut one. Cross court to Audrey Jones. Audrey for three. It is good! With 1.3 seconds left on the game clock. Audrey Jones with one of the biggest shots ever.
the sky's the limit, really, with what we can do here.
College just got affordable. Up to 100% of enrollment fees can be reimbursed for first-time college students taking full-time classes. At Solano Community College, we are taking full advantage of this to further your future. With certificate and degree programs in industrial technology, aeronautics, biotechnology, and many others, Solano Community College is a staple for success. For more information, please contact the Financial Aid Office at 707-864-7000.